That's how you know I've been replaced. Yeah, no, there was just such a good deal on Celsius. It's like $6 off a 12 pack, so I'm gonna completely destroy mine.
Oh, is that... Okay, that's a drink, I guess. I thought you'd just, like, finally come around to the good temperature system. Yeah, it's a really good deal on Celsius.
Your punishment is double circumcision.
What?
Don't worry about it.
You can do it again?
Deeper this time.
Yeah, we put it back on to take it off again.
That's unnerving to think about the implications of. So, last time, our adventurers were bravely going through Hyalia's vibe check when you found that the banyan tree that you seem to be, doing this vibe check in, that's acting sort of as this hub, is slowly beginning to flood. And then, I guess, more importantly, President Slater has been shooting you with lasers and just started heating up the water. So I suppose as we return to the action in media res, what are you doing?
First, I have a question.
Yes.
Is this salt water?
Why? Do you tell me why that's important, and then I'll figure it out.
I'm afraid that this might be a literal representation of the island sinking.
My memory of season 9 is that we decided the water wasn't salty like Earth Ocean, because that's like, why would you make all this water and we can't drink it? So it's like nutrient rich and delicious.
It has electrolytes, sure, but not
does this
salt.
taste like nutrient rich and delicious water? What is this mineral water? Or is this Dasani?
It depends. Stranger, are you drinking the water that's slowly becoming boiling?
I am a plant person with, I guess, vines and roots in the water. I guess in a way, yes.
So it's very interesting you brought that fact up, and I'm honestly surprised there wasn't just a thought from the two people in our team who automatically breathe underwater. You are not breathing this water. You are not absorbing it. This is alien to you, but you all will drown here if this keeps rising.
That's not how I like my water to work.
Yeah, it's very disconcerting.
Can I, give a look around to see if this water's coming from somewhere specifically?
Sure, you can give me an investigation check.
Investigation check. Probably should have looked sooner.
Yeah, so the water is coming in through the cracks in the side of the tree, but it also seems to be coming out from behind things. It seems like it is sort of ubiquitous in this area. Is this leak coming in? It is all surrounding this tree, and water is just coming in, and slowly the levels are rising.
So there's
So
there's no way for me to try to plug the leak with my fingers, is what you're saying.
Lillian, I guess this is a good question. How many fingers does Fair have?
Faye has 10 fingers and 10 toes.
Oh, the classic number of toes and fingers. I will say that you can attempt to do that, but you know that this is a process that will not work. There are simply too many holes, and there are other complications, I guess, at play here. As mentioned, Slater is just going to watch you all die if something doesn't change. There are also 2 books down still underneath the water that you can take a look at.
I definitely feel like we need a place that's not slowly drowning us and maybe also boiling us. So I think just to get to a different scene, Lillian will wade over to open up the book that you called Fair Majesty or something.
Yes, Fair Majesty.
Yeah, Fair Majesty. Let's open that book.
Yeah, so when you open the book, everything goes black, and then it's showtime. The curtain is rising, the stage lights are hot. An eager audience of your friends from the gig are awaiting your performance and your leadership. The danger is coming, and the people need a hero to stand against it. It's your turn to perform, so can you play the role of a hero? 4 spotlights shine down on an individual in your adoring audience, and it is up to you to unite these folk before the storm giant arrives. And you find yourselves on a stage looking out in front of a very large audience, but centered at the very front are 4 spotlights on individuals. And looming behind the audience, you can simply see the dark silhouette of a giant crackling with electricity.
Goodness gracious, who are these spotlights shining on?
Yeah, so the 4 spotlights are on Reaper, Commander Cassidy, Pofo, and Harper. And the rest of you are all here as well, by the way.
Yeah.
Right.
We're all here. It's Kingdom Hearts. You guys are in like little stage outfits, whatever you like.
I think we each have like our own different masks on right now. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It almost feels a bit redundant to give Stranger a Halloween mask, but yes.
Barbella is wearing a mask that is just a cardboard, like a child's depiction of a fish made out of cardboard that is just strapped to her face.
It's
Oh, we're not even ourselves. We're actors playing ourselves.
Holy shit, that'd be wild.
oh, that's amazing.
Here's somebody with just a big pumpkin helmet on, your face is painted orange, you're like, it's a living.
I'm the understudy. The original guy got sick.
Okay, who's pairing up with who? Who's got desires?
I'll take Stranger will take Reaper. He can do that. I would like to note Stranger is desperately looking around for Slater at this point. He's always taken vibe checks seriously, but something that he's said repeatedly is that like fighting in it doesn't feel real to him because these aren't like real people he's fighting, right? This is now the same way he was during the White fight. He is like vicious. He's even more excited, whereas previous with like White there was kind of like a stressed insane mental breakdown. There is like pure vibrating energy and almost joy the moment he saw Slater.
Yeah? You have like this intense like, oh, finally I get to let loose.
Not exactly, but we could get to that when
Okay.
we did see Slater.
All right, we will get there then. All right, does anyone else want to claim anybody?
I'm fine. I'm kind of breezy to kind of go with like following kind of anyone else. I guess I could go for Harper though of these 4.
Harper makes sense. You're both build guys. You make things.
Yeah.
I think I'm being drawn toward Cassidy. I'm thinking of something. I think I could get to him. Reach out to his fighter's heart.
He's gonna get revenge for you stabbing him.
That leaves Barbella with Pofo, the Fearbelog. I should note, this is not Pofo the Bodak.
Cool. I gotta remember enough about that character I never interacted with. I pull it together.
Don't worry, each of them have a line that really clearly kind of establishes what their mindset is to help determine this next event. So, I think we're going to start with Reaper, who Stranger approaches. And Reaper is going to look at you, her arms are crossed, and she's going to go, "Humph, worthless. Why rely on others? I alone am enough to protect this worthless chunk of land." If I remind you of the prompt as well, this is a play about Lillian.
Okay, this makes it more complicated then. Oh god, I'm going first.
Dan, the answer to the riddle is bugs.
Alright, yeah. Is the answer bugs that eat your dick?
Somehow it is. It's weird. I didn't write that in my notes, but as I think about it logically, it is the answer to the riddle.
Okay, let's see here. Lillian's whole thing is about the community. The obvious thing that would connect to Reaper at this point probably is that she is, kind of has a found family here. So Stranger.
Let me, real quick, get a history check from you.
Okie dokie. Darn, I don't have 28 intelligence anymore, so let's see how this goes.
Sadly. This is actually a group intelligence check, by the way.
Oh, everybody?
Everybody can roll if they want, or if you want to just roll by with this 21. It is.
I mean, I don't want to fuck with that 21.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll say with a 21 stranger, one thing to remember here is Hialeah died before Reaper actually fully really got on board with everything. Like Reaper hadn't fought Master Evers yet or anything like that by the point Hialeah had passed. So it is worth keeping in mind that for all of these characters, they are who they were when Hialeah passed.
Okay. Stranger will sort of sweep his hand around the room. Well, no, he's going to sweep his really cool big pumpkin sword around the area and say, yes, you might be able to defend this land, but if you do not team up with these fellow heroes, think of all the people that will die, and there will be no one around to admire your strength.
I feel like the only reason you would draw a sword against me is if you wanted to fight. Clearly you haven't heard about how I am the ultimate fighter.
Stranger will say, well, actually, it's attached to my arm now. It's a vine thing, you see. Second character in a row with a big arm or whatever. And then say, you want to prove that you're the strongest fighter out there? Then you're going to have to work together and save this place from that big beastie over there, and then point out towards White.
Yeah, let me get a... Would you say that you are trying to, actually convince Reaper what you're doing, or you're trying to kind of be like, do it, or I'm scared? Like, is this a persuasion or intimidation in your mind?
Persuasion. He's in no way threatening Reaper.
Okay. It's difficult because your voice always sounds a little threatening from the fear biome. So you got to check sometimes. Yeah, give me a persuasion check.
All right, they're both -1, so let's see how this goes. 13.
Yeah, I will say Reaper is just going to say, or I could punch off your head, take your sword, and be even stronger. And she is going to make an attack against you. Does 17 hit your AC?
Yep.
Yeah, so it's going to be... Whoops! That's not right.
0, got it.
Shut up, you. Oh my gosh. Quinn, please, get it together. That's going to be 11 damage as she is going to just kind of do a quick monk, 1-inch punch into your belly.
Oh no, my very limited amount of bones!
We're going to go over to Barbella. You were standing in front of Pofo, who is this fearbelug in a Hawaiian shirt. Seems to be pretty relaxed, but they are going to look at you and just say, death is the end for us all. Even this community will one day die. So why does this one matter?
Well, the way I see it is, first of all, of course it matters what we do here and now, because in the here and now we do still exist, and the less suffering, the more happiness we can bring to people in the here and now, the better this limited time we have can be spent. We only have so much of it, and all the more reason to make it count. But I think beyond that, even if we as individuals don't continue, or we as a specific community don't continue, I like to think if we put the right things out into the world, they ripple, and some part of us keeps going, be that one nice deed done for someone else that leads to them being slightly nicer to someone else, and someone in some community out there having a slightly nicer day because of a ripple of positivity started here. We can't always measure it, but the things we do matter in lasting ways.
Yeah. Let me get a persuasion check, Barbella.
Okay, I have a plus in that.
Oh no.
Barbella having this
Fuck.
nice conversation while fucking strangers in an arm bar.
I don't get an advantage from my cool speech or anything.
Not yet.
Okay, well what I got
unfortunately.
was a botch. That was a 4. That was a botch 4.
Yeah, Barbella, I'm also going to need you to give me a Constitution saving throw.
Okay. 14.
Dan, what's your spell save?
What's my spell save?
What's your spell save, Dan?
19.
Yeah, can you remind me how much damage the Bodak gun does?
Well, hold on. Let's see. I think that just instantly kills her.
We're not doing the instant kill. I need to know it's a success or failure, and the failure means the damage.
Got it. I think it was 3d10.
All right, yeah, Barbella, Pofo's face.
I could roll it for you if you'd like.
How dare you?
Actually, yeah, we'll take quick. Yeah, let's do.
you wanna
let's
do
do
my
yours,
damage or
Quinn.
yours?
You're the DM. Your rolls mean more than mine.
Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, that is 8 damage as Pofo's face starts to shift into this Bodak visage, and the eyes catch you in this terrifying death stare, and you just feel like a necrotic grip over your fucking body, like a claw, just like clawed into your chest or something like that for a moment. And
Salient point. Consider this, however.
Wow.
and we are going to shift over to Boyce, who's talking to Harper, who's looking at you. He's like, I mean, we can try as much as we want, but I mean, we ain't nothing special. We're just normal folk. And you want us to fight a giant?
Dan, are you preparing a Jordan Peterson NPC for season 13? Is that what that voice was?
No, that was me trying to do Quinn's Pofo voice.
Oh, okay.
But now I could do that. I've done a Jordan Peterson voice before.
That's the fear biome right there.
That is.
Actually, I did have a Ronald Reagan prepared.
Oh God.
jeez.
All right, back to Harper here. Okay, I'm trying to think here. Boyce will take a moment upon hearing that. It's like, well, sure, y'all might be just normal folk and such, but all throughout time there have been countless endeavors where people who are otherwise normal just either band together or trust in each other and do their best, and somehow are able to find ways to be greater than they may anticipate. We become more than a sum of our parts in a way. Despite the stakes at hand here, I don't think you should be thinking about your regularness as a drawback or a flaw. It's just a piece of the puzzle that comes together when we try to build something up.
Yeah. Boys, would you like to give me a persuasion check?
I will certainly try. That was a 5. It rolled twice for some reason, so it was a 5.
This is going real
It was
bad.
not a botch, thankfully, but it was a 5.
What's funnier is if Harper turns into Dumas for a second to stab you, or if he just hits you in the eye with the hammer. I'm trying to think.
The hammer is funnier.
The hammer is funny.
I was like, I'm trying to almost do a duality in certain things. Except Reaper, who's just kind of a bitch all the time. But it is, I also think, very funny if Harper's just like, you failed, wham!
Yeah, just like there's almost like nailing a little sign on Boyce's head that just says "not gonna do it" or something.
Yeah, so Boyce, you're going to take 12 damage as Harper is going to just take a hammer and just kind of slap you in the face and just be like, yeah, I don't think it's that easy for us folk. And we are going to turn our attention over to Lillian, who is standing across from Commander Cassidy, Commander Clit, Cassidy, Captain, all the adjectives, all the terms, who is going to look at Lillian and say, "Progress cannot be stopped. It marches on inevitably, and this community, too, will be crushed beneath its boot."
I think Lillian will, intentionally, not draw fair, current rapier, but, kind of, get into a stance that asserts that Faye is not afraid to fight if Faye needs to, and tell Commander Cassidy, progress can go both ways. We, as a community, can progress and become something even stronger than the foes that come to face us. I know that you and your men come from a place that eats the weak, but our community is different. We have to lift up the weak, amplify their strengths, and together come out stronger than any individual person, like the Storm Giant, or even your boss. And I think that you could help us lift up the weak if you and your men support anyone else here who is still scared to fight. If you want to be a good leader to your men, you'll stand with us instead of leaving us to die.
The question I have to ask is Lillian going to be rolling persuasion or intimidation?
I think this is coming from a genuine place of wanting to convince him in some way. I don't think Lillian's trying to be intimidating.
Okay. Yeah, this is a great sort of what was the opposite road, because we saw how Lillian and the vibe checkers sort of convinced this guy through violence before. This is a situation where you were trying to just have a diplomatic appeal to him. So yeah, give me a persuasion check, Lillian.
19.
Yeah. So Commander Cassidy is going to pick up his weapon. He's going to grab onto his hip, and it's very interesting, Lillian, because you see him start to pull out this handle that you saw before that eventually turned into a whip. But here, just an enormous sword comes out of this handle. The handle is smaller than the rest of the blade that comes out, but Hialeah also never got to see.
I was just thinking she never got
his weapon did.
She never got to see his cool whip.
Damn, the tree's not even going to tell me? That's fucked up.
Also, the reason I took to an appeal to understanding is because this version of Cassidy did not get whipped by our team. Hialeah didn't get to see my cool sword moves.
Very, very true. Well, I'll say Commander Cassidy is pulling out this blade. He's holding it above his head, and then he makes a simple wrist gesture. And instead of having the sword up in a threatening pose, it becomes face down. He does that move where you put two hands on the handle of a sword, and he slams it into the ground with enough force that it sticks there. And then he stares towards the stage and slowly starts applauding. And in the background, White the Storm Giant gets one step closer as you see electricity sort of crackling through the audience. It doesn't seem to bother anyone. No one's noticing it, but you can see it is now coming towards you. And we are going to have to try this again then, as we're going to go back to Stranger.
Mm-hmm. Stranger coughs up a couple pieces of candy corn and goes, yes, this is shitty, Reaper. Okay, listen, bitch, here's the deal. If you don't work together with us, there's a good chance that even if you kill White, he'll destroy the banyan tree and the riddlefish before you can ever get your fucking master back. So shut up, get back to work, and kill the goddamn giant.
Oh my god!
Very different approach.
That was definitely intimidation. And I'm going to say roll it with advantage. Oh my god, you almost botched 0.
Oh.
Yeah, the 7. Reaper is going to come and be like, "You don't get to tell me what to do." and is going to make a couple of attacks here against you, Dan. Hold on one sec. I'm just gonna.
Can I expend a resource here? I have a teleport that causes fear. I would like to scare Reaper into doing what I want.
So I'm going to say first and foremost, a couple attacks are going to come at you. These might hit, they might not. But 15 and then a crit. So the second one I think hits.
The second one hits, the first one doesn't.
Okay. So it's going to just be 12 damage. But I will then say, if you are willing to expend this resource to do this, is that something you just don't get back?
I have I think 5 charges of it. No, 4. But I'm willing to just give up all of it.
Let me get back to let me see how the rest of this round goes, and I'll get back to you on that. Let's jump back over to Pofo, who kind of looks at you Barbella, and says,
Yes, but it's speaking of us, we're going to be killed soon, and that's fine. That's just a part of life. So I think maybe we should just accept what's coming our way.
Okay, look, if the big picture philosophizing's not going to do you, I've got a different approach. Is there anything in the near future that you're kind of hyped for? A piece of music, a book coming out, a film you want to see, something like that. You got a thing that you're like, I would like to enjoy that.
Well, Buck's birthday's coming up soon. I'd like to see what Buck wants to do on their birthday. That'd be pretty cool.
Okay. Forget about the inevitability of the rest of existence. Forget about anything bigger picture. If you want to find out what to do for their birthday and hang out and have that birthday, you're going to need to fight this thing and make sure that there's still a birthday to be had. For today, that birthday can be the thing that you fight for.
Laura busting out the Austin, you have to keep living. They're still making Fire Emblems thing.
For me it was 15, being 15, and I can't kill myself yet. Danger Days by My Chemical Romance is still coming out.
Oh my god,
Wow.
so relatable.
Yeah, look, sometimes you're just gonna go. I got to stick around for that.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Give me a persuasion check with advantage, Barbella.
Okay, let's give it a go. 10?
Yeah, Barbella, with this 10, Pofo is going to look at you and just be like,
Well, I guess I need to make sure there's a buck to celebrate a birthday around as well.
Right.
So maybe it makes sense.
and he is going to turn to the stage and begin clapping as well. And we are going to move over to Boyce as Harper is going to look at you and say, I mean, it just doesn't seem practical. I mean, he's so big. We're so small. He could squish us. What does it matter? I mean, you've seen ants. Haven't you squished like a bunch of ants accidentally because you didn't see where you were going?
I mean, sure, but in the same way, I might just think about what you just did there with that hammer, right? If you saw a nail in a board, you try to get it in there with just like your hand, that's never gonna work. But you have the right tool, it becomes much easier. Doesn't matter how big that giant is, with the right tools and the right plan, it can all come together. It can still work out, you know? And we've all been trying our best to make sure that we have a plan and the tools in place, like the lightning rods to protect from any bolts being sent out by way, and a whole matter of other things to help out. So it's not like you going out there on your own. Not only do you have others around you, we've also poured everything we have to make sure you all can succeed.
Yeah, I think, are you going to go for persuasion again as well?
There's not much else I could do. Like, I'm not sure like what intelligence skill I can throw, like history or something. So I'm fine with it being just persuasion because I'm just trying to.
That's great.
Yeah, just regular in this case.
Give me advantage on a persuasion roll.
A 10 is the result.
Yeah, with a 10, Harper's gonna kind of look at you and say like, well, I guess I do have a pretty mean swing with the hammer. Maybe I could get him really good in like the ankle. You ever stepped on like a one of them little builder block pieces? I could be like that.
Oh, don't get me started. Those things hurt like a Dickens, yeah. You can swing the hammer pretty good, too. Don't sell yourself short.
Yeah, and then Harper is going to kind of like turn their attention away from you and onto the stage, and they will begin to clap as well. As I think we're gonna address Stranger. You want to teleport and scare Reaper into sort of following your directive. Mm-hmm. I will say that is possible, but you will run the risk of catching some of this lightning coming from White. So are you okay with that risk?
Let's try something else because I have 28 hit points and I think White could probably just kill me with that.
Okay, yeah, you can give it another go.
A stranger's gonna say, you know what? I think you're scared because I don't think you can do it. The strongest killer in the world, incapable of working with others. You can't do it, can you? He's trying to reverse psychology her into doing it.
Okay. I think that's another shot at persuasion. I will give you advantage on this, but just know there will be damage coming if you fail.
There's been damage coming every time. So.
It's gonna get more.
Okay. 12.
Yeah, I think Reaper is going to look at you and say, I'm not scared. I'll prove anyone who says I'm scared wrong. I'll beat that giant and punch out its dick. I don't even care. You're going to see how not scared I am. Everyone's going to be talking about you, Stranger, the one who's actually scared. But not I, Reaper, the Kuatoa born without fear. There's probably a catchier name in there, but I haven't thought of it.
Yeah, whatever, as he vomits up more candy corn.
Yeah, Reaper is going to turn her attention to the stage and begin clapping. And as she and the other 3 people under these spotlights are applauding, the rest of the audience starts to like stand up and applaud all of you. And there is this light kind of congealing on the stage into like this orb.
Now, before I address this orb, I get the suspicion we're not doing so hot on health. Is that correct?
I have 28.
Sarah, address the orb.
Okay, just because I don't know when I can. I have been wanting to use my one hit of mass cure wounds to try to give everyone some health before we go back to Boiling Water Island.
I feel like if there was ever a time, it's probably now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we're all doing a bow and getting this uproarious applause from the audience, and as this giant orb is forming from the spotlights, before Lillian goes to address it, Faye will do a very ostentatious bow, and magic healing sparkles go across the stage and give everyone, it looks like 17 HP.
I will certainly take it.
Yeah, that is awesome.
It's time to address the orb.
So that's 17 hit points for all of us, or is that 21 in this case?
Quinn, only you'll appreciate this, but when I don't have a character, I turn into Elliot Kalin.
You're all about bits. Did you see he's going to be show running a Netflix Ghostbuster series?
No, I didn't. That's very funny.
I was like, that is weirdly appropriate, and I hope the first episode addresses the weird blowjob scene from the first movie.
I hope they do more of that, actually.
To answer your question, Skitch, it is 3d8 plus my spellcasting ability modifier, so you are right, it should be 21 HP each.
Got it. All right, thank you.
Ooh. Yeah, Lillian, great job. You've healed everybody. You've done this big bow, but there is sort of this waiting gift for you on stage, almost like your bouquet at the end of a fantastic performance.
Just I'm gonna go to this orb and address it. I'm gonna walk into the light, the beautiful light of a good performance.
Yeah, and can you tell me what you look like on the other end when you're holding your legendary sword?
My legendary sword is this really cool, like, I like to think it's still a rapier, and it's like not just decorated with flowers, but it's like made of plant material, but it's not going to break. It's going to function as a sword with like these like big agave leaves as like the part of the sword that like fans out before like you get to the blade, the hilt, and then like the rest of the sword is decorated in like lily of the valley, of course, and then there's like hyacinth and tulips and some bluebells like adorning it as it goes up to the point. And it's got like even like a little like keychain at the bottom of it that's like a little like ornamental like cactus sphere.
Yeah, you've got your Kingdom Hearts keychain, basically.
Yes.
Hell yeah. Yeah, you guys have finished Fair Majesty, and you find yourselves back in the middle of the banyan tree. Unfortunately, the water is almost to the ceiling. There is just this stained glass roof basically above you, this stained glass window above you. And then otherwise, there's maybe like a foot of airspace between you and the ceiling, and water is still coming in.
I don't think we've asked, what is the picture on the stained glass, or is it just like a generic like design?
Yeah, I'm so glad you asked, Dan. Yeah, because the twist is revealed at this point, it looks like a giant sort of banyan tree. This looks like something you would almost be like, Hylia was thinking of like the iconography to give the church and stuff like that. Like this is, you know how like sometimes like Christians will have like the Sacred Heart, which is like a heart on fire with like a purple like ribbon and stuff like that around it, or the crucifix. Like this is
that's why it's a Binding of Isaac item.
Yeah. Jesus. This does appear to be, you know, something similar to that, but where like the middle would be and you would see like the tree trunk, you simply just see Slater standing in like this very like straight on silhouette.
He's kind of infested it then.
Yeah, that's what it appears. Now, I will say right now, you don't see him.
Right. We are not being shot at in the immediate, as far as I can tell, right?
Not yet.
Is he hiding in the last book?
So can I just ask for clarification? Were you saying that the stained glass had Slater in it as if he was a part of the stained glass design?
Yeah, it was as though he was designed into it.
Okay, that's pretty sick.
This is part of the iconography and not like, it's not like he slapped a sticker of himself over it. Like he's built into it.
Just like, I hate the guy, but he does have the theatrics that would make him a good actor if he weren't a horrible person.
Well, we only have a few seconds, it looks like, so should we hold our breath and get in that last book?
No other choice.
Yep. Not much choice, yes. Let's hop to it then. And
hurry it along. We have a Slater to kill.
Yeah, who's going down? Who's attempting to get to the last book? Because I'm going to need a Constitution saving throw from you.
Boyce will attempt to go for the book, just given the circumstance and such, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me get a Constitution saving throw.
Do I benefit from Barbella's aura?
Yeah, I think you do.
Yeah,
Plus
you do.
3, is that right?
I'm just checking. Charisma. Yes, plus 3.
A 13 for the con save.
I think there is a challenge doing it because, like, this is very strange to you. You've never, like, drowned. Like, the water's always been, like, a very natural thing for you. So I think there's, like, a moment of, like, uncertainty as you start to, like, dive down. You're just like, wait a minute, what the fuck? Like, oh no, I can't just do this forever.
It's similar to like the brine pool that we like came across.
Yeah, actually, very similar to that. I guess you have experienced this once before, where you didn't. You were the one person I think that didn't get trapped in the brine pool.
No, he did get trapped temporarily. He needed Gowdy to get out of it.
It was Barbella who didn't get trapped.
Correct.
No, we all got trapped in the brine pool eventually.
Everyone gets brined eventually.
Yeah, if it could help, I think I could also, once I have a line of sight. Well, actually, no, I can't do it. It requires a verbal. I can't do Misty Step. It requires a verbal component to do it. I can't speak in this water.
I think you could speak. You just wouldn't be able to breathe.
It's a very risky move.
I will say this: there might be a small risk, but you can attempt that if you're going to expend a spell slot for it.
I think, given like the circumstance, just given how far he might need to swim and such, he might be desperate enough just to do it, to get there and just pop open the book and risk like taking some damage in the process effectively.
Don't you also just mage hand the book up to you?
Listen, I think this one is a little bit more theatrical to do, Misty Step wise, so I'm fine with doing that. In this case.
Yeah, Dan, let's get you do it. All right, Sketchy takes 73 damage.
Sweet. That's you know what? That's almost my maximum health, almost, but not quite. So
not quite. Okay. No, you're actually only going to take 3 damage as you're like, it's like a moment of like, oh, I might not be able to reach this, and that's the moment where you're like, okay, I'm going to teleport then. So yeah.
Boyce reaches out, takes the constructor of dreams, and opens it up under the waters.
Yeah. So Zolfo appears to you, pristine and quaint. The land has not yet been terraformed, but Boyce's vision is obvious. Faint blue outlines can be seen laid over top the existing town, and these blueprints show how the existing architecture could be improved, and also segment off empty spaces in town to show off the grand brilliance that will soon be there. There is a wonderful optimism in Zolfo's future, save for the meteor headed its way. And you guys find yourself in this version of Zolfo that has like almost this like weird like blueprint overlay over all the buildings. There's a bunch of construction material around. This is like a place in like an active process of being like improved. But up in the sky, there is a giant rock headed towards you, and Zolfo does not look like it can survive this.
I mean, there's an obvious and easy solution.
Address the orb.
Okay, Yursky, the orb is not there yet. We have an underwater town, a disaster heading towards it. It's obvious. We take the town and push it somewhere else.
Push it somewhere else.
Now see, my solution was going to be different. I was going to say, I've heard this riddle before. Meteor? No, I'd rather meaty or not. Not, because it's a question mark. I've solved your riddle.
Barbella, that made me want to lay down in front of the meteor.
Just could we not would building a giant gun to shoot at the meteor take too long? Boy's thoughts.
That is, I want to interject just to say that is an incredible question. And when you are asked that, Boyce, you instinctively know you can. There is absolutely enough time to do that.
Boyce will just sort of nod a little bit at Lillian's word to be like, I mean, listen, you know, we got all the plans are here to they just need to be realized, and there's always room for more ideas for the pile there, but yes, we got to do something to protect this, right?
Right.
All right. Let's give that idea a shot then, Lillian.
Yeehaw! I have a cowgirl outfit on, gender neutral, not cowboy, but not girl, somewhere in the middle.
I would say
Cowpoke.
Cowpoke.
I would
Cowpoke.
say, well, I would say cowfolk, but then that would imply like a minotaur, right? Aren't they cowfolk?
Yeah, literally, yes. What if we build a perfectly angled ski jump that the meteor goes down and then just gets launched back up into the air?
So I will say everyone has the opportunity here to build whatever you want. This is an opportunity for you to build whatever wacky, zany contraption you want to save this town. So this is going to be a collaborative effort, some group checks involved, and you got to save the town or push it someplace else.
Okay, I know what Stranger's gonna do. He's gonna build a giant trampoline like above the town, so any debris that doesn't get obliterated just gets launched up and out.
Give me an acrobatics check.
All right. Well, it's not the greatest thing I can do, but sure. You got a 5.
Ooh.
All right, we're gonna keep that in mind. Stranger has built a trampoline to kind of bounce some debris away. What is everybody else gonna try to build?
So like I said, like the very first thing I thought of was like, okay, so we can like hit the meteor with a second projectile. Hit the meteor with a second projectile that will bounce it back, which is why I said big gun.
All right, so you want to try a big gun?
I want to try a big gun. Think like the big gun that they shoot the rocket to the moon with in like the old like Jules Verne story.
Yeah, let me get a ranged spell attack.
Ranged spell attack.
I choose the worst option for my character.
Okay, let's see. 24.
Yeah, you build. I mean, I want you to describe this gun. So please, by all means, the meteor will not be destroyed, but you are going to take a big chunk out of it. And I really want to hear what Lillian's gun looks like.
So this is like, it's almost like more of like a cannon than a gun, but gun is funnier. And I'm asking you to imagine the most Jules Verne steampunk looking thing that you can imagine, with like floral filigree across all of it. I don't know where Faye got the time to do all the details, but that's very important to the vision. And there's like pipes coming out of it, and like something's smoking, you don't know why. It kind of gives the impression of someone who in a realistic circumstance doesn't actually know how a lot of this works, but it just does.
I think it's very funny where you're going through the vibe check of a professional writer, and you're like, I mean, I hope nobody minds that I have no idea how this works. And it's like, none of them do, so you're all good.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome. Barbella, what are you going to try to use to defend Zolfo?
Okay, in a similar-ish category, Barbella would like to... How do I describe this? You know how a trebuchet works?
A trebuchet, yes, I'm familiar.
Yeah, a trebuchet. The thing with that is it's a sort of like overhand throw kind of motion that a trebuchet does. What I want is the sideways equivalent of a trebuchet, something that's going to swing forward from the back to the front with a sort of more sideways, more horizontal axis.
Ah, like a submarine pitch. Yeah, got it.
What I'm trying to create is Barbella's going to try and make a big wooden version of her own fist that can swing and smack at this thing.
Oh my god.
Barbella wants to punch it with the big wooden fist.
Yeah.
The sideways trebuchet punch.
Yeah. Do you want to make me a melee attack, Barbella?
Yeah, sure.
Use your legendary sword stats.
I wasn't sure I was going to do the individual descriptions for these episodes, but Lillian gets a gun, Barbella builds a punch trebuchet. It's very good.
Yeah, sometimes I try to help you, Austin.
That's a 20 to hit.
Yeah, so Barbella, you are not also going to be able to take out this meteor. Like, there is like a concerted group effort going on, and this is like another piece being taken out of it. But your fist absolutely works. So I don't know if there's any extra flourish or anything you wanted to add as this thing like clobbers into this meteor that like physics would tell you like those were such great forces, surely they'd stop. Like the part of the meteorite you destroy goes away and the rest of it keeps going, but you absolutely murder this thing.
I think the flavor I add to this is it's kind of like the anime moment where like the fist connects with the meteor doing the punch, and everything stops for a second, and there's a moment where it looks like the meteor is entirely stopped in midair before the here's the forces have now sort of acted, and whatever is broken is broken. But there's just a moment where that impact is everything for a second.
Yeah, at a moment it looks like you stopped and then maybe like a crack starts to appear, and instead just the part you hit like falls off.
It's like these two projectiles are arm wrestling in midair for a second, working out which one's gonna give way.
Yeah. So, boys, this comes down to you. The meteor is falling apart. It's battered. There's protection for the town from Stranger, but like, how do you stop it? How do you save Zolfo?
I've been thinking about how the sequence could go here. Seeing the others wearing down the meteor, and Stranger trying his darndest to put up the trampoline over there.
I'm gonna be honest, boys. You're gonna want to do this one yourself. I would not trust it.
Right.
Trampoline has a couple holes in it.
Yep. So there's two lines of thoughts I had. One was to use Shatter. I think I've already used that earlier in this arc. Another option would be to tap into one of the spells I kind of employed in one of the earlier encounters, which was to basically, the idea I have is sort of like conjuring up a large fireball transposed to acid damage and throwing it at the meteor to corrode it away, and basically like dissolve it in the water itself as it's passing through.
Interesting. I, in all good consciousness, cannot make a meteor roll a dexterity saving throw. So I think this just roll the damage, because I think that is your check, essentially, is how much damage can we get.
I'm just gonna burn a 5th level spell slot for this.
Oh my gosh, okay.
I can recover it back because I have arcane recovery here. So I figure we'll have a chance beforehand. So I'm just doing 10d6 acid damage. That's 44 acid damage as Boyce conjures the largest like ball of like this sort of like hazy yellowish green, and just shoots it forward at the meteor as it cascades down to try to envelop and dissolve everything except for maybe some scraps in the mass of this acid here.
Yeah. Boyce, I don't know if this is a weird question.
Mm-hmm.
In your perfect ending for Zolfo, does the town cheer and applaud you? Or do the citizens go on with their lives happy? Because Boyce has never stricken me as somebody who wants the attention and applause.
I mean, you have the right of it. The way, the only person that Boyce would be gleeful to see applaud or kind of cheer would be Ollie, of course. For everyone else, it's just sort of the knowledge that they are able to live safe, happy lives is what he kind of lives for, right? Because his whole goal is to give people that one secure safety of being able to have a place that is just home, and especially somewhere out here that was, in some ways designed for us, but at the same time, we had to come here and make our own home out of something. And for Boyce, their greatest hope was that for someone who's a new traveler to Zolfo to arrive, and there already is a place they can kind of choose to be their home. And it's not like they even have to deal with waiting for it. It's just sort of to be fully honest, one of the songs that I was using as sort of my mood board for Boyce was Last Train Home by Pat Metheny, Mm-hmm. And sort of that sort of vibe of someone going through Arabella to here and being greeted to a place that's home for them. and that kind of embodies like the feeling Boyce has internally if the meteor is sort of like resolved as a threat here.
Yeah, the meteor is resolved as a threat. There's a couple rocks that bounce off of a trampoline that Stranger put out, and everybody's most appreciative.
That's when the camera pans out and we find out it was just a regular sized trampoline.
A doghouse was very well protected from some rocks, though, so that's the important thing. But yeah, like the town is going about their business. There's, the hustle and bustle. Everyone is going on with their lives very happy and content without really paying you much mind, boys, or any of you. But as like this crowd is going by, you catch a glimpse of what I imagine Ollie looks like. It's sort of like a force ghost mentality. Like you almost see like the spirit of them. And I don't know if Ollie had a hat, but in my mind, they're giving you like that hat tug kind of move. And then like a person like, catches over your point of view. So like,
right.
They disappear for a second, and when they pass by, Ollie is gone, but there is an orb of light floating there.
Hey, address of the orb.
Yeah, like
Yorsky, get back in your cage.
Boyce does like have to, sort of like does a tip of the cap back at like where Ollie was, and then approaches the orb kind of carefully and, well, reaches at it.
Yeah. Boyce, can you tell me, have you been planning all your life what your legendary sword looks like? Give
I
me
do
its
have
blueprint.
a page of notes about this, yes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
All right, so as Boyce pulls out the sword, what's interesting about it is that much like the structures around Nzulfo used to be before they were manifested into the buildings that they are after the threat is erased, is that there is sort of like a schematic-esque quality to its outline and trace. More notably, though, as it moves, it seems to change shape based on context. I actually have a name for the sword, and it's just simply the right tool.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think you all should have baller-ass names for your swords, but I didn't want to force that on you.
I mean, I even have an idea of what I could do mechanically, but I can hold that until later on.
I mean, look, if you would like to tell me, if anyone would like to tell me what their sword does, if not, it'll come up soon, I'm sure.
Well, first off, obviously mine is named the Pumpkin Carver.
Oh, yeah. Okay. My sword has a cool name, but I don't want to say it until it comes up in combat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The name for mine is going to be the Riddle Swish, because you sort of swish it through the air, it's shaped like a question mark.
Hell yeah. All right. Yeah, you do that, and you all find yourselves trapped in the banyan tree that is completely submerged in water, drowning.
I want to break the stained glass.
Yeah?
Yeah, we gotta kick that thing.
Yeah?
I want to break it too.
Let me get a strength check from you.
Oh no, I'm really bad at that. Barbella, you do it.
I'll go for 1 sec. 21.
Yeah, is it just going to be Stranger and Barbella who are trying to get out? What are Boyce and Lillian doing? Are you just going to watch?
At risk of taking more damage, Boyce could offer to do like a level 2 shatter to kind of aid in cracking the glass in this case.
Yeah, I think anything here helps. I want to know, this is, normally there's like a situation where it's like, we'll let the smart person take over. But you did just get teleported into a room where you're all drowning, so I would assume everyone's still doing something.
I could cast Thunder Wave. That also has a vocal component, so I'd be fine with taking some damage from that too.
Yeah, so a couple of you are expending spells, a couple of you are just using raw strength. Stranger, with a -1 modifier coming in very impressively, you're all sort of banging on this stained glass that feels like it would never give. Like you start hitting and you're like, what the fuck, is this thing made of titanium? It's glass, right? Like how bad could this be? And there's spells going and you start to feel like the air that was left in your lungs is starting to disappear, and you're feeling that sort of tightness in the chest and everything like that, and you're pounding and pounding until these 2 spells hit at like the exact same time as one of your pounds, and the glass shatters upwards, like you're slamming it from inside this water, and it shoots upwards into something full of what you can only describe as a very radiant light.
Oh, thank goodness. I thought we were going to have to drink the ocean.
Are you guys going to climb up into this new area?
Yeah, stranger will swim towards the light.
Certainly.
Surely this won't kill us.
I would like to breathe.
Just, I love breathing.
Yeah, you guys can absolutely do that. You can look into this area. As you see, you have found yourselves inside of a church. It is sort of this enormous, sort of grand cathedral, almost kind of tacky in a way. But there are a couple things that stand out to you on a first kind of glimpse around. One is that there are these three big, really big statues in the very, very back of the church, or not back, I guess the front of the church, where like the priest or whatever would speak from. I'm thinking of this in a very Catholic way, so this may not be universal for how most churches work, but I'm thinking like, you know, grand cathedral, priest up at the front, there's these three statues behind where they would normally stand. The stained glass windows and like the architecture, like this feels grand, but there is a vibe to you that feels like, I don't know how else to describe this, but like Starbucks designed this cathedral. Like there's like an annoying sort of like corporateness to this cathedral.
The stained glass figures have like the horrible like modern business design. You know, the one that's like really simple.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of like stick figure almost level kind of like persons.
It's called Memphis design, but also I was thinking Funko Pops. Sorry.
Holy shit, they're all Funko Pops.
Oh, that's worse.
Oh, this religion was a mistake.
I also just like the idea of like the stained glass, like represent, like showing like things that are on sale. It's like one of like the menu of what you can get service wise in the church.
Yeah, indulgences.
Yeah. Yeah, and the last thing you see is President Slater standing in sort of like right up near where the altar would be, and he's kind of boredly looking at you all like, I can't believe it took you that long. Really, I'm wasting my time here.
Stranger starts laughing maniacally. And he says, "You might not believe this, but I'm actually elated to see you."
Why are you so bored with the doldrums of your normal life you decided to give civilization a chance finally?
Oh, you probably don't realize this, do you? You don't recognize your greatest creation.
I don't believe I ever put any money into building pumpkin robots, and I can't imagine why that would be a worthwhile investment in time. Feels like only the fear biome would have an interest in that.
Oh, see, that's where you're right. Many years ago, you sent a pathetic little wretch to my home, and his death led to my birth. I progressed from him, if you will. So call it fate, or simply bad luck. But everything you've done has led to me. It is good to see you again, Father.
God, Stranger's so bonkers. I love him.
Hey, Dad, time to fuck you up.
Give me an insight check, Stranger.
28.
I will say this. If Slater was, like, unnerved by what you're saying, like, you can't tell. This man seems like a steel fucking, like, disposition. There is nothing, like, of interest. He just kind of, like, quirks an eyebrow. And he's like, it appears there's something I'll have to investigate at some point, but who knows when I'll find the time. Although I suppose I have quite a lot of that right now. Do you like my church, what I've done to it? I believe your tree friend Hylia probably wanted something like this, but I thought there were improvements that could be made. She's very interested in making this tree into a religion. But I'm afraid all she ended up doing was creating a devil for it.
I'm just wondering when you're going to make these improvements.
Yeah, I am not a fan.
I mean, the ergonomics that we've added alone add so much more to return customerability. These are real terms,
Look,
you know?
Look, if I wanted to come to a church full of rampant late-stage capitalism, I wouldn't come here, I would go to any American megachurch.
I'm not sure what this capitalism you speak of is, but it sounds intriguing, and I would like to subscribe to its newsletter.
Oh no.
Listen,
I was gonna say he's pre-industrial. He's not capitalist.
Okay, we gotta fucking murder him now before he can learn
He
more.
knows too much.
He's gonna kind of look at you all and be like, "Oh, I think I feel how your pumpkin friend feels now. I expected this to be a little bit more of a reaction, but perhaps Hylia maybe gave you an idea that I would be here?"
she gave us an idea that she had spoken to and made an agreement with you right before she exploded in our face because she decided not to go on it.
I didn't get the impression she tried very hard, but it's tough to tell. I haven't really had consciousness until we last spoke. Although, for a strange reason, I almost feel like I've always had it. Are you used to somebody inside of these vibe checks speaking to you this way, attacking you this way?
Absolutely not. This is extremely unusual. You are doing something in here that I don't think should be done. I think even if I wasn't 100% on board with Hylia's vision, like a good amount of the times, you are doing something very disrespectful here right now, and I'm not a fan. I'm not on board for it. I think you need to stop.
It's a shame, because I think you've only seen a fraction of what I'm really capable of. And Slater is going to swing his arms, and sort of like this enormous pillar of fire is going to sort of like, almost like a tornado of fire, is going to shoot down sort of the middle of this church. I'm going to need dexterity saving throws from everybody.
All right.
Everyone gets a +3.
18.
21.
11.
I failed that dexterity saving throw.
Okie dokie. All right, so Barbella and Lillian are going to fail, so you both are going to take 22 damage, and Boyce and Stranger got out of the way in time, will only take 11. And I would like an Arcana check from Boyce.
That's only a 13.
Yeah, I think a 13 is still good enough to notice this, that you survive this attack, you dodge away from it, and you realize Slater did not cast a spell.
So that's just the environment or something. Or something else casting the spell. If it was one.
Can I ask a question on what I believe may be happening here?
Absolutely.
I think there is a little bit of beautiful poetry happening. The banyan tree is inherently parasitic, and I think Slater has basically acted as a parasite, taking over this vibe check and the control over what is being shown here from the banyan tree, because he became, quite literally, Hylia's patron.
Yeah, so I think there is something very interesting in that. So I'll say put a pin in that. But Slater is just going to look at you all and just say, "A mere flick of my wrist is all that took. It's incredible. Truly a waste to have anything else. Think of all that time casting spells. It seems pathetic in comparison."
I know Slater said he's the devil of the Banyan religion, but devils are just a kind of creature in this universe. I think the more accurate thing would be he's the Asmodeus of this of the Banyan religion, who is the Satan Lucifer-like figure. Sorry, I'll cut that out. No one cares.
No, you're good. I think you should keep that in. I just wanted that cool line where he's like, "I'm the devil, and you made the devil to your own religion."
Yeah.
But I think that is a good point to note: is that devils are a real thing in this world. But Slater is just gonna kind of look at you all and just say, "You know that I'm inside of the tree now at this point, right? Like I'm sort of a part of all of this," as he motions to the vibe check. And he just says, "Perhaps I wouldn't have been this way if your tree friend hadn't bumbled their way through, but once I gained this level of consciousness, then it's persisted, and I'm still working on theories, but I imagine if I showed up here, then theoretically every person who's ever interacted with me who shows up into a vibe check can allow me to manifest. And if that's the case, I was one of the most prolific and important people in the New World. You'll never get rid of me."
Oh, Father, you really should have spent time with your dear beloved son. You'd learn I'm quite adept at pruning parasites out of foliage.
I just wanted to say, like, Lillian will say, like, he's serious. He'll do it.
Look, I'm not thinking any further than right this moment, and right this moment, I'm gonna kick your ass and hope that kicks you out of at least this one vibe check.
I think that we were progressing just fine here without your own vision of what things should be. And as far as I can tell, we came here with a particular plan and a particular goal, and you're in our way.
Yeah, Stranger will run a finger along his new sword, Pumpkin Carver, and say, "I really must thank you, though. You've given me a beautiful opportunity that no other Harvestkin will ever have. Not even my own brother. I get to engage in patricide." And then he's gonna attack.
Yeah, so I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna roll initiative.
While we're rolling initiative, can I just regale you with something that occurs to me, which is the Banyan imagery in this series, obviously, something we've spent a lot of time thinking about, mildly inspired by the banyan tree in my hometown of Fort Myers, Florida, which was planted by Thomas Edison, famous evil industrialist. He thought he could maybe exploit the banyan tree to get rubber. That's not the way they work. It didn't happen. Now the tree, it was 6 feet tall when he planted it. It is now like an acre wide and 60 feet tall. I'm going to put a picture of, or a video of it in the chat. But Edison's banyan and Slater's banyan, I mean, mwah, chef's kiss. We did not talk about this.
This is not something planned, but very interesting how this all lines up. Barbella and Lillian have a tie. Do you have any
got
preference?
a crit too. I really want to kill my dad.
Yeah, you really do.
Mm-hmm.
That's one tree, by the way, if you're watching the video. I know it looks like a forest of trees, but it's one tree.
That's fucking crazy.
That's
Okay,
messed up.
so yeah, Stranger, you're up first.
Okay. So, the first thing, I guess we have to go over, what does Stranger's sword do?
I'm very curious to know what Pumpkin Carver does.
I think the obvious thing is that it gets integrated into all of his wild shapes, right? So that whatever bonus damage isn't just immediately lost because he turns into, I don't know, a squid or whatever. But I think the most thematic and appropriate thing would be that he can target someone and then just summon a creature or a manifestation of whatever that thing's fears are to attack it.
Interesting. I think that's very, very interesting. Okay, yeah. Is that what you're doing? You're summoning these manifestations of fear?
Yeah, so Stranger will turn into a big scorpion. His tail is replaced by the sword. as a bonus action, and then I guess just as the action, he will summon whatever those manifestations would be for Slater to start mauling him.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what the answer to this is, because truthfully, Slater is such a confident idiot that in his mind, I wonder what he is actually afraid of.
Regulation.
Yes, there is OSHA.
I mean,
oh God!
Is that the answer? Is an evil OSHA is summoned around him to torment him?
Wasn't his express goal in getting resurrected that he felt like he was getting slower and older?
Yes.
Maybe maybe he's just getting attacked by versions of him that are rotting away and like aging right before him.
Yeah, I mean, this feels like some psychic damage stuff coming at him. He's seen, these visages flying around him, and then these angry OSHA regulators slashing at him or something like that. I'm gonna give him a saving throw here. I'm trying to think what's the most appropriate. I'm gonna go with wisdom here, and we're just gonna see the level of damage. 13, so that's a fail. So, yeah, Dan, this is a very effective. I want you to sort of, whatever your big damage dice would be, I want you to feel like you can roll it here.
What would that be? Because druids don't have those.
Yeah. I mean, you could do the equivalent of like a fireball. What is that, like 68s or something like that?
It
Just
is
look at what a fireball is, and I'll just do that.
a baseline fireball is 8d6.
8d6. Okay.
Got it. 27.
Yeah, like this does seem to affect Slater. He's being hurt. You are, if you're like desperate to see blood, there's maybe blood coming out, from these illusions or something like that. But more importantly, I want to draw your attention to behind Slater. There is sort of this long sort of candle that is burning behind him, and as these attacks are like attacking and hitting him, the candle starts to like melt a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And it is going to be Lillian's turn. Lillian, what are you going to do?
So Lillian is going to be poised to attack, and first Faye's going to directly address Slater and go, this future that you imagine where you are part of this tree and you are affecting things in ways that benefit you is not what's going to happen. That is not how this story will go, and you just have to accept that. And then Lillian is going to hit Slater with Fair Sword, the script. And I'm going to use, I've been keeping track of this, my automatic crit to crit on my hit to attack him.
Wow. Okay, so you're gonna use your rabbit mask to guaranteed success crit this guy, and I need to know, Lillian, what does Fair Sword do?
So Fair Sword, I've been thinking about it. I like to think it does something when it hits, and especially now with this crit hit, after it does this damage, it makes Slater follow the script and be worse at the fight than he would be normally.
So he takes sort of like a demerit to his skills, essentially.
Yeah, like he is the villain and he is going to be defeated, so he is not going to be as good at like attacking or like winning at whatever role he needs to do.
Yeah. So I think you crit. So one, yeah, that's gonna happen. But I guess because you're using this crit, do you want to put some damage on that dice as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, do like what a crit would be if you normally attacked with your sword.
It's 14 damage on that.
Yeah, so you lay this big shot on Slater, and Slater is going to kind of recoil as you slash him, and as you
pierce him,
attack
rapier.
him, yeah, as you attack him, as you pierce him, there's almost like a ghost that leaves Slater that looks exactly like him, almost like an astral projection of him, flies out, kind of hovers in the air above you, Lillian, and snaps your fingers, and I will need Fair to give me a dexterity saving throw as an enormous piston from the ceiling looks like it's going to slam down on top of you.
That's a 10.
Yeah, so you are going to take half of 30 damage because you demerited him. This attack seems like it would have been a lot more effective, but right now it's thankfully only going to deal a smaller amount. However, it is still deadly potentially.
Yeah. It does get me down to 0 HP.
So does it?
That's not good. I had 10 hit points.
Oh, yeah, then I mean, well, I didn't expect this. Yeah, Lillian, describe what happens to Fair.
So yeah, what happens to Fair is that Faye says this with such bravado and like attacks like Slater and like uses this crit and like this magic like from like the mask and like the sword all coalescing. And there's just like a split moment where like Faye doesn't see the piston coming, basically. Just gets totally like whapped, like fucking tossed to the side.
Yeah, you get crunched by this piston. And Slater is going to turn to you and say, well, I suppose that makes the decision of which one of you to spare easier.
Your favorite son, right?
I don't have any kinship with you. I'm not giving you any of my money. Stop
Oh,
asking.
don't treat me like a pumpkin-headed stepchild.
I don't know who you are and you're strange to me. I'm definitely killing you, so... And he's gonna turn to Barbella and boys. Pick between yourselves which one of you I let out of here to spread word that I need to be revived next. And it's gonna be Barbella's turn.
Oh, I'm gonna kick this fucker's ass. So let's do Caster Branding Smite as a bonus action. So my next successful attack will deal some extra radiant damage. Then we are going to start doing attack rolls. 15 and a 15. Ouch, that was some low rolls. Do either of those hit?
Unfortunately, those are misses. I am sorry to say.
Fuck it. I still have a reasonable amount of HP and a high AC. I'm gonna cast Compelled Duel. So I'm gonna need a Wisdom saving throw.
16.
Okay, that doesn't work either.
Oh no!
Oops.
I thought 16
Oh,
would be
that's
underneath.
a
I'm
big
guessing
game.
my demerit on this man doesn't count anymore now that I'm knocked out.
I believe I lowered it. Like 6, it was plus 9 before, and it's a plus 7
Oh.
now. So it
Damn,
did still
that's
take
the
effect.
Demerit?
Yeah, I mean, he is
What's up with
essentially
this
a
guy?
god in this universe.
It's almost like he's strong or something.
I am impressed. My plus 12 attacks both missed because I rolled 3 on the fucking dice. Cool. Oh, you just wait till next turn.
Yeah.
I'm gonna roll more than a 3. I'm gonna fuck
I'm
you
going
up.
to give you an opportunity to roll more than a 3 here, Barbella, because I would like an athletics check from you, as at the end of your turn, Slater is going to kind of snap his fingers and the ground underneath you turns into a conveyor belt going backwards away from him.
21.
Yeah, so you essentially turned this fucking conveyor belt that, like, leads into, like, a flaming pit or something like that. Like, maybe there's one of those giant cartoon, like, machines that almost has, like, a face to it that just smashes things the second it gets inside. But you've just turned this into a treadmill. Like, you've just turned this into, like, a light cardio exercise until you get the next
I
shit.
see what the problem... I see what the problem was. I needed to warm up. Give me like 6 seconds and I'll be on you.
Yeah. In the meantime, Boyce, what are you gonna do?
Listen, I have all the ideas of what the plans were about the tree, the island, and the area around it, and you are not in any of those plans. And Boyce will lift up the right tool pointed at Slater and use it as a spellcasting implement to cast Guiding Bolt targeting Slater.
Yeah. Boyce, what does your sword do?
So, the attack roll is a 22.
Which is a hit.
the right tool. So one of the principles that Boyce has been operating on is being a scribe wizard, which is all about transmuting spells to different damage types, sometimes to kind of jockey for certain positions. The right tool for any job is the one that is never ineffective and is maximally effective. So the idea I had is that the way the right tool works is that any attack or spell casted or done through it always will do a damage type the target is vulnerable to.
Yeah, hell yeah, absolutely. Give me that damage and we're gonna double it.
So that's 17, so that'd be 34 damage. The question is there a damage type the Slater is vulnerable to? I have an idea of one.
I would love to hear your idea.
Necrotic.
Really? Okay, yeah, describe this to me.
Well, because the idea being like his desire to avoid dying, his desire to avoid death. He's currently presenting this sort of like air of sort of manufactured youthfulness and virality, right? So the idea that like as he's struck by the guiding bolt, this sickening dark glow around him gives the next attack against him advantage, but also at the same time, it's almost like if he were to lift his hand, he could see the skin start to become a little bit thinner and the bones underneath to become more prevalent as he starts to age before his own eyes, despite his, desires to never die.
Yeah, you have this haunting moment where like all this pain and visage is starting to like come over him and the age, and there's all this terror he just experienced because of Stranger. And there is a moment of like real disgust and maybe even terror in his eyes before he like shakes out of it, sort of snaps his fingers, and this effect dissipates for a moment. All the damage still happened, it seems like it affected him, but he himself like starts to like revert back, like he has gathered control over the situation, and he simply kind of looks over to you and just says, "There's nothing you could have done for this town that I, the greatest mind in the New World, could not have figured out on my own. I will find nothing but brilliant ways to streamline this process once I've managed to get out of here, and I'll find a way to turn your home into something useful to the world in spite of yourselves."
How close is Slater's vision to Strangers of just like let the market sort it out?
I mean, his, I think, is very much of the mind of, like, let the market sort it out, but my way is going to be the correct way 100% of the time. It's like, inconceivable that it wouldn't be that way. So, I think he is very much, like, laissez-faire, but he is the fair, I guess. Did that answer your question, Austin?
Yeah, in the film adaptation, since he's going to invent capitalism that makes him Adam Smith, so does he have a Scottish accent?
Oh, no, I can't do a Scottish accent. I'm very, very sorry. Thank you, though, for letting me try for a second. Yeah, so I think what's going to happen here is Slater is going to, like, reach back, and you see, like, this light start to form in his hands. This, like, radiant, burning, almost like phoenix-like light. And he's going to take it, and he just hurls it into the center of the room. And the three of you are still up. I need you to make me a Constitution saving throw.
Oh, 20. I don't know why it's being sent directly to you still.
17 for Boyce.
Crit 24.
Yeah, I think with the crit, nothing happens to you, Barbella. You're going to come out of this just fine. That's a pass from Stranger as well. Unfortunately, Boyce is a failure, so I'm going to roll some damage here, and you're going to see it, and you might get a little concerned, but give me a second to explain it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's 44 damage, but Stranger is only going to take half of that, so 22. Or actually, Stranger's only going to take 11, because you're going to take a quarter of it. And then, Boyce, you'll take the 22, because this is still going to operate under the script that Lillian has set.
That 44 would have been exactly enough to put Boyce to 0.
Yeah. So, a big save there. However, Boyce, you are blinded right now. So keep that in mind as we go back to Stranger's turn.
Okay. I think probably it's fair that I can't just make the damage, the fear thing happen again. So I'm going to start attacking him. However, Okay, first I'm going to open up with the tail because I have advantage because of Guiding Bolt.
Now, what's your tail? You haven't turned into anything yet, have you?
Yeah, I've turned into a giant scorpion.
Oh, okay. The audience is craving something new, Dan. They want to hear about all these little pumpkin freaks. You keep going back to the scorpion well.
Here's the problem. Fucking D&D 5e, despite being like 10 years old, did not actually create many monsters.
Yeah, well, that's fair, I suppose. So I guess go for it. But this does have a feeling of like Animorphs, where you're like, a tiger again, Jake? All right.
Well, fine. Let me go look at my wild shape list real quick.
Let him have his scorpion fun.
No, absolutely have your scorpion fun. I'm just teasing.
If it can kill a storm giant, it can kill him. I did say his sword has entirely replaced the stinger.
Okay,
so
yeah.
That's what he's attacking with at this point. Okay, so first, this is because he has the sword, we're adding that to the hit, and he has a proficiency bonus. This is with +5. Does a 19 hit?
A 19 does hit. The 6 afterwards does not.
That's the rolling with advantage. Now I have to roll the
gotcha.
other attacks. So this is just 2 plain attacks. 19 and 17.
The 19 will hit.
Okay. I need a con save from him as well.
Okay.
I googled animals similar to scorpion. I hate that daddy long legs aren't spiders. They're a different kind of creature. But daddy long sword, is that anything?
Oh, all the legs are swords. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah. And daddy. Yeah, those are both good. 16.
Okay, that fails.
Oh no.
Plus that. That is 46 damage because he failed the con save against
Oh my
poison.
god, 46 damage.
Yeah. And then Stranger is going to fire the Bodak gun at him.
Hold on one sec. I have to do some math.
Sorry, it's harvest spiders that aren't spiders. They're also sometimes called daddy long legs.
Okay, he's a harvest spider now, obviously.
Yeah, obviously. I'm sorry, what was it I needed to roll?
Bodak gun, the save for that.
Oh, the Constitution. Okay. I'm gonna say yeah. So this is an 11, but I'm gonna say he's gonna use a legendary resistance to pass this.
Ah, damn! For a moment, because he kept failing things and wasn't using anything, I thought he didn't have one. Fuck.
He's keeping it in store for the stuff that he feels like is dangerous. There's like God, fuck, I'm trying to think of this moment, but it's like, like in an anime where like a character's about to use a super cool technique and the villain's like, oh shit, like I thought you were a joke for a while, but Destructo Disc really would kill me, so I have to dodge that.
That's fair. So I guess he still takes 3d6 damage, so 10.
Okay, hey, damage is damage. But as you deal this damage to him, another one of these ghosts like floats away from him. And like kind of rises above the area and snaps his fingers. And I need a Constitution saving throw from you, Dan, as a Stranger is ignited.
Okay. 15.
Yeah, unfortunately, that is not enough. You are going to take some damage here. It is going to be cut in half. It's going to be 13 damage.
Okay. So that puts me at 24 damage total. Yeah, Stranger is still fine with this, and he's enjoying. He's a flaming pumpkin spider scorpion, laughing his ass off, and he says, "Oh, Father, just pass on already. I'm already keeping your idea of progress alive. You've given me such great ideas for back home. Tell me, when you die, will I inherit the shares of your company, or do I have to kill any of your other brats?"
I think I know what'll happen to you next, pumpkin. And we will wait to find out what that means. But it's going to be Lillian's turn, I guess, to make a death saving throw.
Indeed. Okay, let's see. Death saving throw. Is that just like a D20?
D20. Yep.
It's a 17.
All right, Lillian is one step closer to life.
Yes.
It is Barbella's turn.
Okay, is Stranger on fire? Did I hear that correctly?
Yeah.
Okay, bonus action, create water to put the fire out.
Great idea.
Cool. So I've made some water.
That is
Hopefully
successful.
Lovely. My branding smite from last turn is still active because I never successfully hit anything last turn. So, let's start attacking. Does an 18 hit?
18 will hit.
Then use my second bonus action for this turn to recast Branding Smite. 28, I assume that hits.
Weirdly, yeah, it does.
Yeah, so let's roll 2 attacks worth of damage with Branding Smite on each of them. Plus each of them we're going to activate Divine Smite, and the first one is going to activate Strike of the Giants. So
If you just want to let me know what that damage number is at the end.
I'll let you know that number once I know that number.
All the numbers here.
Okay, so you're not knocked prone, but I can total up that damage now. So 13 plus 11 is 24, 31, 43, 49, 54, 56 damage.
Yeah, Barbella, that is really, really good damage. And I want to call special attention. I mentioned before this candle that's burning behind him. It is getting very, very low. And you can see even the ember on top is starting to flicker a little bit. Like it's getting a little bit weak. But even with that Titanic shot, this guy is not down. And one of his little ghosts, the other one, is going to make a movement. And it's not aimed at you. This one is staring firmly at Stranger. And Stranger, I need you to make me a dexterity saving throw to avoid being hit by the train.
Okay, sure.
Train.
Also, I
Yep.
I have a riddle to ask in a second as well, because I use my new riddle sword, so I need to find out whether
that's right.
disadvantage is applied.
19.
Yeah, so 19 is enough to pass. You are still going to take some damage in this, though.
Oh, did you get your +3 from being near me?
I didn't, so that would be 22.
I wasn't sure if there was degrees of pass, if it would help at all.
So you're going to take half of 44, so 22, as this train almost runs straight over you. You just avoid it as it passes through, and it steams through. It rips through half of the church. It just crashes through a wall and it's gone.
And the script, I guess, doesn't also have that as well?
No, unfortunately not. Not for
Okay,
trains. You can't. The train wasn't in the script. Come on.
That's fair.
Okay.
Just suplex it, okay?
Stranger will say back to him, "Oh, Dad, playing catch now, it's a bit late for it, don't you think?"
You all don't seem to get it. You're trying against an inevitable conclusion. This is a worthless waste of my time. And it is Boyce's turn.
Oh, not quite yet. I've got to ask my riddle still.
Oh, that's right. I still have to get her. Oh, yes, I
Yeah.
apologize. Barbella, please.
Yes. I hit you with a special sword. I have to ask you questions now. Barbella shouts out, "How can the number 4 be half of 5?
Slater is going to, I think he just kind of, looks at you with, confusion. And he's like, I mean, it's not 4 is 1 less than 5. It's not half. They're very close, actually, in terms of value.
Nope, disadvantage. 5 is spelled F-I-V-E. That's 4 letters long. 2 of those letters are I-V, the Roman numerals for 4.
Whoa, holy shit.
What a riddle.
3 levels of this riddle.
I fucking love that riddle. It's fucking
he
great.
is gonna have disadvantage to attack anybody else by you, but he's very confused as to why. He doesn't know really shit about the riddle snake, and he is just confused at this point why someone just asked him a riddle.
I've been saving some of my most weird, elaborate riddles, and now that I have a reason I want people to fail them, this is fucking beautiful.
Yeah, it is Boyce's turn.
I have an odd question here.
I love odd questions.
Is it possible to attack the candle directly?
So, yes, is the answer to that. I guess it depends on what you are ultimately trying to do.
You know, like
you're just trying to chunk out the candle, basically?
I mean, I'm thinking in terms of, as someone who's raised Lutheran, the idea that at the end of the service, you have people who just put the candles out to indicate the end of things in this respect there. So snuffing it out is sort of one thought I had.
Yeah, I mean, that's an option that's on the table.
I'm just thinking of whether that is a better approach than healing Lillian so that Lillian isn't dying.
Yeah, I can't give you information
Sure.
to say whether or not it'll be successful or more effective than attacking him or anything like that. I will say that it is an option though, and I want you to do whatever feels like it's the cool thing for boys to do.
Yeah. I think Boyce, being blinded, at least in the moment, is going to have a hard time hitting anything particularly successfully. So I think Boyce is going to at least get down to the ground, blindly reach out so he can touch Lillian, and apply a 4th level cure wounds on Lillian to get Fair back up at least. And that's what their turn is going to effectively be here. So this is 48 plus 5 healing going to Lillian, I think. I should have also said, oh yeah, the right tool doubles all healing that Boyce does, but I think that'd be a bit cheeky there to do that.
Healing.
Yeah. So Boyce will get on their hands and knees, kind of like reaching blindly out to where Lillian is, and give Fair 25 hit points of healing to at least allow Fair to continue with the script, to make sure that the show ends as intended.
Yeah. Very, very cool. I think a good use of your turn. Lillian is up. It is going to be Slater's turn next. And he is going to kind of shake away, almost annoyingly away from Barbella. He doesn't quite understand this magic that's on him. But he's looking at all of you and he's like, gnats! That's all you are, annoying gnats around me. Unclean, worthless gnats! And he, sort of makes this gesture with his hand. And all of these swords begin to rise up and strike at all of you. Now, one set of these attacks is against just Barbella, but the rest of them are going to be for all of you. However, the other attacks are the disadvantage that Barbella is imposing. So only Barbella needs to necessarily care about these first stack of numbers here.
Clearly Slater wasn't paying attention. I made a bunch of bugs eat someone's dick earlier, so you should really not be just calling us that.
Yeah. So, I think 13, 26, and 14 are the rolls. I think 26 with Barbella. But
26 hits me.
Yeah, it is going to then be... It's actually a botch. It is... let me do this again. Hold on. Yeah, so he rolls 26 to hit Barbella, and that is a hit. Against everyone else, he fails, including one of the attacks being a botch. So I'm going to say that this attack is only going to hit Barbella, and it's honestly not even too bad damage-wise, I think. It's 19 damage to Barbella. That's going to be halved into, 9? So pretty manageable, but everyone gets to make a shot at Slater at this point, because he botched.
Is that everyone, including me, or other than me?
Barbella, I wouldn't leave you out of the fun.
Oh.
All right. And my attack is going to be made with disadvantage because of the blindness that's still on, boys, or is that blindness gone?
The blindness is gone. I believe that only lasts for a turn.
You got it. Just wanted to confirm.
15 damage from Barbella.
15 damage.
Boyce rolls a crit on a Ray of Frost because I want to just do like a cantrip attack for that situation there.
Yeah, just drop me what the damage is, and then I need an attack from Lillian.
That is going to be 32 necrotic damage.
Lillian will. Lillian wants to say first that gnats have more dignity than you ever have. Casting Thunder Wave. That's 31 damage.
And I need a con save from him as well.
And then it is, 34 from Stranger and 15 from Barbella?
I need a con save from him.
I know, but what's your damage?
Oh, that would be 34.
Okay. So, yeah, with this damage, you guys deal it. And there is a sliver of life on this candle left. Like, barely anything left. Like, this isn't a fighting game when you're like, pixel health bar left kind of thing.
Oh, the magic pixel, yeah.
Chip damage. Let's go. Is he gonna tech all these attacks now? Is that what's gonna happen?
Oh, I hit him again. I want to put him back in disadvantage.
Yeah, I mean, you could do that, but what I will say is he kind of looks really bad. He looks awful. It looks like he is about to die at any second. Like, this is someone who has just been mangled by a series of attacks. And he is going to kind of like, he's just going to kind of look at you all in this moment of like terror, and then he's going to start laughing.
Oh, that's where I get it from.
What was all of this for? What are you're wasting your own time now. People like you are so pathetic. You don't even understand what you're doing with your lives. They're so pointless. Did you think this would work? Did you think you could kill me? I am the tree at this point. I control everything here. And he's going to turn, and his fingers are going to point at the candle, and he's just going to flick his fingers up, and the candle will start growing. Like, it'll get larger and larger until it's even larger than it was when he starts this, when he started this fight against you. And then he's going to just kind of sweep his hand across the back, sort of the back of this church. And it just fills with all of these candles that are illuminated, that are like each taller than the rest, like cataclysmically tall. And he just kind of looks at you and he's like, don't you get it? I can't be killed here. I control everything. You can never defeat me because I decide when I go. And that answer is never going to happen. I'm not going anywhere. I will be revived, and I'll kill every vibe checker who comes in here until it happens.
And this is where Barbella is going to completely break the tone and ask, what are the next 3 letters in this combination? OTTFFSS.
So, I will say this. He fails the riddle. And I think the reason is because of answering you. He's just going to attack you with like a blast of energy, Barbella. Like something that looks like, it's like charging up in his hand, and this looks like sort of like a deadly attack. This looks like he's almost like making like a black hole in his hand. And he is going to throw it at you, and I need a dexterity saving throw, Barbella, to not be erased from existence.
Dexterity, you say?
Uh-huh.
Not an attack against my AC with which he would have disadvantage.
It is unfortunately not an attack with disadvantage. It is a saving throw to avoid being consumed by the dark hole.
12.
I think there is a moment, yeah, as this nebulous death sort of guaranteeing attack is about to erase Barbella from existence, and you can like almost start to accept it. You're like, shit, it's coming too fast, it's coming too close, and you feel that inevitable like, damn, this dude was right. He really does fucking control everything here, I guess. And right before it hits you, you hear a voice call out.
Who rocks grooves and makes moves with all the mommies?
I think we're supposed to say hallelujah to that, right? I think that's I believe.
Mox.
You see a huge shadow fall over you as the biggest person besides Storm Giant White at the campaign walks into the room with a leather-bound tome of riddles, studying it quite carefully. And you see Hylia is like idealized, like she's younger, she's fitter, happier. She probably has on some kind of combination of like golden pope outfit and like chill basketball shorts. It's like a informal pope.
Oh my god, this character is you. I do feel like that's your attire. 24/7 if you can make
I
it.
confirmed this having, yes.
Yes, it's me. And she looks at the riddles and says, "No need to be greedy. I got mad friends with Benzes. C notes by the layers. True fucking players."
God damn it.
What the fuck are you talking about?
It's a riddle. See, this is why I had to get rid of him. He's very annoying, isn't he?
He is extremely annoying.
Don't talk about my daddy that way.
You know,
Can Barbella run up and give Hylia a hug?
Well, currently you're being about to be vaporized by a black hole. So
Oh yeah, that black hole is still very slowly moving at me.
She's using riddle magic right now. Her cleric, she's casting something with these riddles because she learned this from Barbella.
yeah, is this something that saves Barbella from being annihilated by this black hole?
If someone guesses the answer, yeah, definitely.
Can you give me the riddle? I thought you were just talking.
I thought you
cool.
were just being. I thought you were just talking in rhymes.
I feel like this has to, that Barbella can't chime in on this. I think this is going to be everyone else.
Who rocks grooves and makes moves with all the mommies?
How do you spell
Shaft?
I can't believe this entire character quirk has gone over the heads of my players.
How do you spell mommies? Are you going
Mamis, Spanish for mothers.
Okay.
I will say I think I know where Hylia is going. I don't know if you need a
Who
helpful
shakes
nudge.
grooves with all the what?
Who rocks grooves and makes moves with all the mommies?
Jump in the rover and come over. Tell your friends, jump in the GS3. I got
This
the
is
chronic by the
obviously a
tree.
music reference I don't get.
It's
Yeah.
oh wait, I
song,
just
dude.
realized. It's Big Papa. It's Big Papa, right?
Boys, when you say that, just
It's Hylia's #1 title. Big Papa.
when you say that, roots and like long snake-like projections explode out of the riddle Bible and intercept the black hole.
Austin. Perfect no notes.
I'm just here like, of course, given the entire theme of Austin's naming scheme, it has to be this.
Okay.
Now you can hug Barbella. Or now you can hug Hylia, sorry.
Barbella, having been saved from annihilation by a riddle, is gonna run over and give Hylia a big hug.
Yep, she picks you up, basically, because even though you're huge and muscular, to her, you're still pretty small. And she says, I think there's something to these riddles. They're both fun and informative.
Oh god, when we get you out of here, I have so many religion riddle thoughts for you.
Hylia, shit got weird out there. You're coming back to a very changed island.
As long as Councilman Jenkins is okay, all his beautiful teeth haven't been moved.
Sure, whatever. I don't know who that is.
So something that I wanted to do before Hylia like intercepted a black hole that was going to annihilate Barbella from existence. Like Slater like conjured like 1,000 candles, and like I wanted to either do like an insight or arcana check to see, like, does this really affect how far he is from death, or is he bluffing?
Yeah, if you want to do an insight check.
All the roots and riddlefish retract into the book, and you see her heft fracture her sword of swords onto her shoulder.
25.
With a 25, I will say Slater at least 100% believes that these candles make him immortal, that he is like, I can never die here, that there is an absolute confidence in him. I need to stress it is not just like he's like, I am the best, no one will ever beat me. He is like, there is no other reality. There is no other option except the one where I win. So for him, he has the utmost confidence, and it does feel like, I mean, you've seen it. He has the ability to completely alter this vibe check. So like right now, it does seem like you're like, how could we ever kill him? He is like, his health bar is like, basically infinitely large.
Lillian, do you forgive me? You see now? You see why I had to explode?
Well, I've definitely come around to the reasoning why he should not ever get to come back, yes.
The question is, of course, is he, as the avatar of the living city, now the Asmodeus of our religion, all-powerful and evil? Or is this how I see him, and because you're in my mind, he seems really powerful and evil? It doesn't matter, you'll be dead either way, but just for future scholars.
I don't think it matters at all. If you remember, Asmodeus died.
Get his ass. Address the orb, bitch.
Yeah, address the orb, bitch, daddy.
I love Dan. You tried to give a personal stake to this guy. No, this is great.
I just want to. Stranger just wants to fuck with him, and he also recognizes
just having a
I
good
only
time.
exist because of you, idiot.
He wants to get a rise out of father, get the inheritance.
Yeah, I mean there was like the utmost confidence a second ago when he was about to like just obliterate Barbella and feel like he was going to walk over the rest of you. And there is a moment here where he realizes that Hylia can influence this vibe check as well. Like, she can manipulate his stuff as well. And there is a terror as he realizes, oh, I'm not immortal anymore. Like, there is a moment of just like confusion on his face.
All right, let's all join hands, friends, and through the power of prayer, let's repel this evil elf. Come on now, everybody.
Well, I think the answer is Big Papa Hialeah has to kiss Slater on the forehead.
Whoa.
If you do it, I'll say that happens. Like, if you walk up to President Slater and you're like, you die now, and then you kiss him on the forehead.
It's okay. It's okay. I give you permission to die now. It's okay.
I hold up my huge sword. It's all the powers of it activate. It's bristling with flaming chains and like acid and all these different enchantments, everything my character can do. And it looks like I'm about to attack him. And then I just say, "Smooches be with you," and give him a little kiss.
Yeah, when you do that, this wall of candles disappears, and the only one that's left is this one with a small sliver of health left. And although it is Stranger's turn, what I'm going to ask for all of our players to do here is forego attacking or anything like that. Assume they failed their saving throw or you hit their AC. I just want the raw damage you are able to deal to see if you can finish Slater before he tries to use his powers again.
So we're treating this as if it was one turn's worth of damage output.
Yeah, everybody just imagine you hit with everything you were going to do. And I want to just see that damage. And if it's enough, this is the victory. But if it's not, Slater might turn this whole thing around. Who knows?
Okay. All right. Let's do a necrotic ball there. That's 90 necrotic damage for Boyce.
Whoo!
I have 27 damage from highest level thunder wave I can do.
Okay. That is good.
I'm just adding mine up quickly.
55.
I think that's 46 damage.
That is incredible. This is like, you surpassed what I even thought was going to be possible in one turn. And I would like to know how you defeat Slater forever.
I like the idea of like the candles like all just like snuffing out immediately, and then Slater is sort of left alone in a void to witness his own attempts to escape death and finality catch up to him. And there's no one for him to boast to, no one for him to plead to, no one to even witness what's happening, because it is such a nothing note in the annals of history that he will not only die, but be forgotten.
Oh, easy there, Buford Gubbins.
I mean, listen, this is like what I said. I mean, this is I felt like that would be accurate to like what Stranger would want to have happen in this case here.
Can I add something onto this?
Sure.
Something that we've repeatedly talked, I've at least repeatedly referenced, is that banyan trees are parasitic. And Slater has been trying to essentially reverse that onto the tree. What if, as he's fading away into this darkness, the tree is basically reabsorbing him until there is nothing left but dregs of his soul?
Jesus.
There's just like the impression of a face in the banyan tree after all this.
Oh, that's gruesome.
That's fucking metal. Remind me to make sure we note that, because that's fucking awesome. Yeah, you guys are victorious. You absolutely eliminate Slater. And you are left in this church where you see Hylia, I imagine, I don't know, wave to you. I never really know what Austin wants, like, Hylia's idol animation to be. She might just, like, crack open, like, a fucking boot and just start, like, smoking it. I don't know.
What is smoking a boot? Yeah, what is my idol animation? What's Austin Yorsky's idol animation?
It's mostly kind of like rocking a little bit, like you're very big, and then it just turns into a dance. Like you just start dancing a little bit.
Sorry for being autistic.
And then I imagine you kind of start to like disappear in, I mean, this is for me, this is for no one else but me, sort of Muppet Christmas Carol sparkles, like when the ghost of Christmas present starts to fade away.
Slater, who did die.
Yeah. Who is a face stuck in the tree. Hylia fades away, and even the church starts to fade away, except for the 3 statues at the very back, which now you find yourself in this featureless void. And these 3 statues all depict different things, but have the same 4 inserted slots in them on the pedestal at the base. And the 3 statues are of Hylia, Bitter Creek, and Stranger. And the time has come for you to vote. What is the future of the Banyan Island and Zulfo?